Looking to learn a new skill and get in shape at the same time? Look no further than our 6-week beginner boxing course. You'll build your strength and endurance, improve your coordination and reflexes, and gain confidence in your ability to defend yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the time has come for the main event of the evening. One time for the undisputed champions of the community. It's go time.
Y'all getting this, man? This is how we get down. 1, 2.
You're supposed to come back.
You right, man. Can you? 1.
On a shield, not a hold.
Right. 1, 2. 1, 2. Y'all hear that? He's strong. So strong. 1, 2. 1, 2, 2. Get it. Because you 9'12". You got to look up. 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2.
You listen,
I said it.
Go, what does it mean?
1, 2, 1, 2. Working on it. You get it. Get it.
You quit the verb.
You gotta find a target. Okay, find a target. And then find a target. Come on, champ. Come on, Creed. Come on, Creed.
That's what we swallowed.
All right, man. Good. So now that we got you all nice and worked up and sweaty. We into it. Maybe some quick questions. First of all, LeBron or Jordan? So we're gonna take gloves off for that.
That's much talking.
If your wife had to tell us something about you that we didn't know, what would she tell us?
He doesn't like being in the spotlight.
Ain't that something?
That's why I'm in the spotlight.
That's right, that's right. She's pushing you out there. I like it, man. Well, we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. I appreciate you picking the mitts. We're going to jump in the ring, get to the interview, get to the real heavy duty stuff. He's tired, and my shoulders hurt because he hit too long. So, we out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another installment of In This Corner with the Champ. I'm your guy, Manny Gutierrez from Think 3D, aka The Champ. And on our show, we like to introduce you to champions of the community, people moving and shaking, making huge impact. Today, we got another history maker. In this corner with me today, we got Robert, the Motor City Cobra, Speaks. Welcome to the show, big dog. I'm so glad that you was able to make it happen. We almost lost you today now. We almost lost you. But I'm glad, the cops let you go. So I kid. It's okay, no problem. So what we do on the show, man, we want to give people the honors they deserve. I know you personally, so I know you like to stay more behind the scenes. So this is a lot for you, right? But I appreciate the effort and the intentionality. I know you. The world needs to know you. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What brought you here to Sioux Falls? Where you originally from? Let's give a little story behind that.
Just want to start off saying thank you for having me today. It's a perfect opportunity for me to open up and give a little element of my story to the community. So I would just say I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I grew up there for 21 years, and I decided to get on the bus and go do something away from my hometown, which I did not feel had a future for myself. Not necessarily my family, but my family wanted to stick with Detroit, Michigan, which they still reside. I still have a brother. I have two brothers that actually are out of Detroit, Michigan, but my mom and my dad is still there. So my motivation came from trying to create a better life for myself. Upon doing that, I joined the Job Corps program in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I wanted to see if I could get a trade to go and pursue a relocation. And that turned into an opportunity in Sioux City, Iowa. I was in Sioux City, Iowa for 3 years, met my wife. She lived in Sioux Falls, and I spent a few weekends in Sioux Falls. It looked like the economy had some great potential here. So I decided to pursue that and see what it turns into. So I've been here since 1996, and I look forward to putting work into the actual community.
I like it, man. I like it. So, how'd you hear about Job Corps? Like, so you from Detroit, tough place, right? Tough place. How'd you hear about Job Corps? What made you say, you know what, I want to try Job Corps out?
It just seemed like an opportunity to get away from the everyday, all day. I see people that I grew up with doing nothing. I didn't see an opportunity for me to excel in, and it just didn't seem to be the right place that I wanted to live and bring up a family. So Job Corps, there was an ad in the paper about it, and I decided to just take the option to pursue it. And I knew if I left Detroit, Michigan, there was not going to be a foundation for me to fall back on if I fail, which I thought was great for me to build my own backbone.
And now, fast forward here, 2023, you are the general manager of Sioux Area Metro. Now, how'd you end up in that role? And we need to make the statement, this is history, people. History. First ever African-American man to be general manager of Sioux Area Metro. I'm gonna clap that up because that's huge, right? We out here making noise. So how'd you end up in that role? So, because you came here to Sioux Falls, were you always in like, the service community, or what was your background, and then how'd you end up in Sioux Area Metro?
My background has always been wanting to be able to help kids in the community, wanting to be able to help families that may have kids that have an interest in playing maybe sports or anything that I could adapt myself to that could help and assist other than my own kids. So that turned into me really having an option to decide to get out of my parents' seat, to not only coach my kid, but to coach other kids that were in his immediate area to be an impact for the community, families that may have that need. That turns into what do I want to do for a career? Starting out, I worked construction here for 18 years. That turned into me pursuing or finishing my college education, getting a business management degree. I wanted to put that into the prospects of helping still in the community. How can I do that? That turns into public transportation. Public transportation is a great way to serve your community in multitude of ways that will help not just do what's fit currently in our existing service, but also to help the service expand. And that's one of the areas that we're trying to improve in now.
So you started out when you got hired on, and then we'll go back to it because I want to touch more on your helping the kids because you do a lot there. But you started out at Sioux Area Metro. You were a driver first?
No, actually, I took the lowest position there. I came from creating a business management LLC with basketball. So that was a self-employment position. That turned into getting the lowest position at Sioux Area Metro as a utility worker. Utility workers made more money than drivers did, so I wanted to take that part of what I can have wage-wise, execute that into driving. The driving part of it turns into operationally, you learn the process of how the functionalities goes with the routes that are actually in place currently. You get into management, you get an opportunity. I had my education, so I wanted to apply for a management position there. Knowing the operation part of what Sioux Area Metro was about as a driver turned my interest into just formula-wise, turning that into where does the numbers come from? How do you possess this into allocating fares and structure that into what can be? So I had a dynamic interest in that. That turned into an operations manager position. My operations manager position turned into assistant general manager. The assistant general manager position, that was more safety-based, safety patrol, but also overall, you're assistant to general manager. I had a general manager that actually was retiring at the time. And I saw the interest in not just leveling off, But if you're really about what your vision is, then you have to seek the opportunity when they exist. So that turned into an opportunity for me to accelerate into a general manager role to where I'm doing now, and it's right at about 3 years.
So you've been as a general manager for 3 years.
Yes.
How long would you say that journey was? From utility to making it to the general manager, how long did that take you?
It probably took me probably like a year and a half. It was a year and a half jump. So utility was 6 months, driving was 6 months, operations manager was 9 months. Operations manager from 9 months turned into AGM. The AGM was just a little shy of 3 years. That turns into the general manager position.
Man, that's quick. I mean, if we have a real conversation about that, that's a fast pace to the top, man. What could you attribute that to? Like if you had to say, I know this is how I got to this level, what would you attribute it to?
It's just drive and motivation. I run from complacency. And if you sit in a position for a long period of time, no one can tell me that does not set in. You can use your resources to do what it takes to get rid of it, but that actually is something that sits still if you decide to level off. And that's something that I try my best not to do, which turns into energy and motivation. I hold a high level of curiosity, and that turns into motivation. And I hope that is something that continues to stay with me. But that is, you're right, that turned the pace of changing positions was really fast, but I'm a quick learner. I don't shy away from responsibility. And wherever the challenges are, I believe that's an opportunity and not something that you push back away from and say, I can't do it.
Do you ever think about like at this point, you being the first, right? First person of color to be in that position. Is there any added pressure? Is there certain things you reflect on? Have you given yourself the opportunity to think about, man, I've reached this level, and the heaviness of it, the validity of it? Like, what do you think about that when you reflect back?
I think the best part of that is knowing that you have a responsibility other than what the job task function is to really show that you care about the success that others may not see themselves as having a part that can be. And what drives me the most about that, I don't think about it every day. I catch myself working harder when I think about it, because it takes me to another level to say people that look like me can do things, provided that you are not comfortable just doing that. And I think there's an elevated process of understanding just what that is. But as far as the historical part of it, one day my hope is that it doesn't really take for that to be recognized as historical, but normal.
Yeah, I like that. So in this journey, you mentioned your coaching. You mentioned your passion for kids in the community. You do plenty of volunteer work. You do a lot. I mean, you've helped more than just your own children. You've helped children from all different backgrounds. What's your passion? What's driving you to I mean, because you could stop. Like, if you just said, I'm only going to be this, nobody says, oh, you should be doing more. Like, you've got a heavy job. What keeps you going back to helping these kids?
It's you think about your own kids, and you really take the opportunity to understand if a kid does not maybe have a parent that has maybe the funding to do something, that stands out to me. It hurts my heart for a kid to not be able to do something sports wise, or even something that's on the outside of sports entertainment wise, due to funding. And so that drives me to really take what I can do to do my part with serving. Kids that actually reach out to me and say, hey, I need you to help me train. I need you to help me do this. Are you willing to help me? To say no to that is like me saying no to a personal hygiene.
And you don't want to be funky.
That's right.
You can't be
That's
funky
right.
out here, man. You gotta keep it fresh and clean. You
That's
know what I
right.
mean? So you do a lot though. Like, so I'm thinking about, like, and with kids, you got that going on professionally. I also know personally you're a man of faith, active in the church. You have all these things going on. How do you keep learning? Like, how do you stay learning new things? What's your strategy? What do you do?
First thing you have to do is give your homage to your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and that's me, 100%. That if I had to give you one thing to represent me is my faith in God. Everything that has happened that I've prayed for has taken place in my life, not necessarily when I would have wanted it to, but it actually has developed into that. And that appreciation can never be as big as the ultimate sacrifice that God has created in my life. And that's something that me balancing myself, the next challenge for me is how do you now serve if it's not a sport? And it's serving at my local church. It's probably serving, having Bible study on the outside of my church. There's a multitude of ways that you can keep your fire going in the right way with the purpose-driven life that God gives you.
Like it. So, a man of character and leadership, what are some things that maybe keep you up at night? Like you're going, man, this is something that bothers you, or maybe it's something that you're looking forward to that keeps you up at night. What's the one thing that you can think of, or a couple of things you can think of that keep you up at night, man?
I think that a lot of that is just leadership. As a leader, you have to be willing to openly keep yourself evolved and not completely shut off. And I don't mean that in a way to where you're always thinking about work necessarily, but there's an empty void in everyone's life that's called laziness. And I run from that as much as I possibly can. So the things when I feel like being restless and doing nothing motivates me to do something. So what keeps me up at night is actually that part of it, because there's a switch that you need to use to turn off. And sleep to me is like $1 million that you never can see. Someone like me.
Right.
But when you get the rest you need, you are a better person. So the things that keep me up at night goes along with how can I utilize my idle time.
I like that. So if you had to identify, you mentioned your faith, what else or who else has been your biggest support in your life? Who's been in your corner the whole time? Who would you, maybe somebody who's been a role model, a mentor, a partner? Who's been your biggest support?
The first person I would have to say is my wife. Been married for 27 years.
We're going to get into that.
That's
Help me. Help me! Go ahead, sorry.
27 years, and I have a wife that anytime I push the button and said, hey, I want to do something, it's going to cost us probably more than we can afford. And she looks at you and say, I will support you with whatever it takes to get your goal met. To me, that's probably not on most women's agenda, in my opinion, at given times of life when there is a potential struggle that may coexist with an area of time to where you foresee it being something that has potential, but the numbers in the house doesn't say that. And you have a person that says, you know what, you can do it, and never batted an eye to that. That will be my first supporter. I have a father that is a senior pastor. He's still back in Detroit, Michigan. I also get a lot of good insights from him. He was married for 46 years, and I know I have it in me, and that's something that I know I can get some good advice from. But happy life, happy wife.
Yeah. All right now. All right. Y'all heard that, right? I don't know, man. I don't know about that. But don't listen to me. I ain't been in there. Like he been in there. No, that's great to hear. So let's say you get somebody, man, they're coming into your company, or they new to Sioux Falls, right? Similar background, from a different culture, different place, different environment. What is your advice to that young person coming up? They come into Sioux Falls. Maybe they're interested in trying to be in business management. Maybe they want to serve the city, like you said. What's your advice to them? What would you tell them?
Do not run from your talent. Instead, do more research on your talent to understand where you fit. If you do that, opportunities line up and they match up. You have to be the one to choose who can help you with that. And the person that can help you with that would be the one that actually will help you take the list and narrow it down and put yourself in a position where you can foresee yourself succeeding in. A lot of times you have people that try to run from their talent, and then later in life they end up going back to their talent. And so I would just say, whatever your talent is, you know what it is, and why waste time not taking advantage of it now? And if you come today, you're coming from a different area, you're coming from a different country, culture, of way of life that comes into Sioux Falls, and you see a career that's out there for you, but you are unsure or uncertain of what it is, I would have to say, take the research necessary to find out what that is. Don't shy away from it. Don't say no to it right away. Put time into it.
I like that. So at Think 3D, we have our saying, our mantra is nothing of significance happens without intention. So we're all about living intentional. How does intentionality work in your life? How has that statement been apparent in your life?
You have to be willing to not run from taking the lead on things, not in an aggressive fashion, but in such a way to where when there's an opportunity in the room, that is when you succeed in taking advantage of that. If you're not doing that and you're sitting on that, what ends up happening is you feel like you become the smartest person in the room, which turns into arrogance. I believe the intentionality comes from the talent that you have that you're not sitting on. So you're now opening up yourself to an area of open and engagement to your talents. But intentionality to me is aggressive. You're aggressive, you're taking advantage of what your opportunities are, and you're not sitting on options that you have. Just look at it this way. An opportunity is something that you can very much be selfish with if you're not careful. You can have a family, your family, you say no to an opportunity that can affect your family and or other people that you can help. So pay attention to that.
I like it, man. So, Rob, the Motor City Cobra, speaks, right? What is something, people that are familiar with you, what is something they may not know about you? Like something that's maybe behind the scenes they don't know, or that you want people to know about you that they may be curious about.
I am a nerd.
Elaborate on that, man.
I turned into a nerd. I like to read books. I like time to be able to process. I like to actually laugh. I like to be able to associate with small circle of friends that I have. I also like to be able to be open-minded with what other people have for entertainment. It becomes hard for me to sit in big groups, as you know, and big groups to me is I've always felt that I need to know who they are. And I've grown out of that. So I'm a little more open to that.
I'm glad.
I'm a little more open to that.
Listen,
I'm a little more open to that.
I'm gonna tell a story. Listen, I would invite Rob. Hey man, come chill, come to the crib. I would have to give him a head count of who's at the crib. Zeus, y'all can relate. You got some of them similarities, man. Zeus is my guy. I love Zeus, right? Him and Rob, y'all might have to learn something from him, Zeus. You don't need a head count every time. I had to give him a head count, height, weight, preference of what they eat, and it's just bad. But no, man.
But I gave you the lighter side of me. The best side of me is I love reading the Bible and the Word of God. I love being able to put time into that. When I do have my quiet time, I'm using that time to learn more, to try to get myself more open to, if I don't know something, I can take the opportunity to open up the Word, and I think it opens my mind up more than it would me just opening up.
How did that, your faith and things like that, help you in opening up? Because I think I've known the journey. I've been there stride with you. So how did that help you opening up to not needing head counts before you step into a place?
If I'm all about helping people,
Right.
if I'm all about helping people in my community, especially in my community, it starts with being open. You can't be closed and have that as an option. And so those two don't go together. So if I had to say what it is, it's like you have an opportunity to be open to people, to help people. You can't have a shut door and expect people to come to it.
Yeah, man, because you had a peekaboo style. It used to be like, hey, who's all up in there, man? Just what they eating first? What they eating? Listen, man, but no, I wanted to tell you, man, I'm proud of you. I know your family's proud of you. For you to be where you're at is nothing short of what you said. You know, God and your faith. I just want you to keep pushing forward. I'm excited to see what the next chapter brings. Yeah, man, I thank you for taking the time, right? To come out here, share your story, share a little bit about yourself, do something outside of your comfort zone, outside of your box. I appreciate it. I really do. From the bottom of my heart, man, I'm proud of you. I love you, bro. And that's it, people. We out here. Thank y'all for tuning in. For In This Corner with the Champ, I'm Manny Gutierrez, the Champ. This is Rob, the Motor City Cobra Speaks, or Robert, right? He's killing it out here, people. Now do the thing where you subscribe, you like it, you comment, and anything else I leave out, Zeus is gonna let me know. It's the Champ.